Hello, this is Jay Black with inLabOnDemand.com. In this video, we're going to give a brief overview of the inLab 15 CAM software. Once you open up your software, you're going to come to a screen right here. You're going to have all your different jobs that you've created in the past. But the first thing is, once you go ahead and install the CAM software, if you were using a previous software version, let's say 4.31, you want to come up to the top of the screen and click on Configurations and click on Settings. Then you're going to come to your order database. All right. What's in your order database? All right, we have the blank database and the instrument database. The instrument database is where all your tools were located, so you're just going to go ahead and look and see whatever folder you had in 431. Just go ahead and change this folder to the exact same thing if it is different. Again, mine are going to be different than yours. I just have mine set up on a network, so I have certain folders that I send everything to. Blank database, what this is, when you're in your CAD software, if you are using inLab CAD, in your configurations, you're going to have a settings box as well. Wherever that blank database is in your CAD software, it needs to be the same thing here in your CAM software. That way, every time you send a case to CAM, it will come to this folder and you'll be able to open it up. Alrighty. All right. So once you open up your CAM software, let's say we want to go ahead and start a new job. We'll click on New Job. All right, job name, you can make a new name each time you want. I just leave it there, but if you want to, you can write whatever you want. Next, machine type, MCX5 or MCXL. So if you're going to mill with the MCX5, obviously you choose the top. If you want to choose the MCXL and mill with that, choose MCXL. For this particular case, we'll choose MCX5. Hit OK. All right. So now all of our crowns that we have that we've sent to the CAM software are here. So let's say we want to go ahead and load a few up. Let's say we want to go ahead and mill this case right here. If you click on each box, you can see it shows a picture of what type of crown over here on the right that you did. We have the dentist name, patient's name, restoration type, tooth number, the restoration height, the material class, the material, and when you exported it. So let's go ahead and just send this case to a disk. All you have to do is hit a check mark in the box. So if we want to send these 4 units, next we'll select the blank. All right, so here's all of the disks that I've been using at this moment. Let's say this case was a D2 disk or D2 shade. Go ahead and click on this particular one right here. However, it says, does it fit in the blank? No, it's too high because this is only a 12 millimeter disk. And you can see over here on our crowns, this one right here was a little bit taller, so we're going to need a bigger disk for that one. All right, let's say we want to add a new disk. All we have to do is come up to New Blank at the top. Once we click New Blank, we can put in the manufacturer's name, or let's say this is a Bruxer disk. We can just click Miscellaneous because Bruxer is not on the list. So Miscellaneous, Zirconia, milling, what blank size, we can go up to 25 millimeters. Let's say we want to put in a 15 millimeter disc. Blank ID, it's very important to write the blank ID here and also write it on the side of your disc. That way you will be able to easily find them when you need them. So let's say this was a D2. I like to put the size as well, D2. All right, then the enlargement factor, there's a X, Y, and a Z enlargement factor. All you have to do is look on the side of the disk and it'll say the number to put in here. For this particular one, If I'm looking on the side of the disk right now, it says 1.242, and I will put that in for both of them. There are some times where these numbers will not be different. If it only gives you one number on the side of the disk, you'll put that number in for both. But the Circon disks, I've noticed that they have a different XY number than the Z number. So you will have to look on the side and put that number in correctly. That lets the software know how much to over mill in size that particular crown. So when it shrinks down in the sintering oven, it'll be the proper size. So we'll just hit the check mark. All right, so now we have our disk here. We can arrow forward. All right, so what the software is going to do is just going to throw all your crowns in the disk, you know, where it thinks is good, but it's up to you to have the final decision of where you're going to put these. So, I mean, it put our crowns here. If we were to arrow forward, sprue positioning, you know, no big deal. Puts the sprues where it wants, but I always double check and do things a little bit different. So I'm going to go back to restoration positioning. I personally like to keep space in between all my restorations. So you can see I'm leaving a little gap here. All right, so now that I've spaced them out, we have horizontal positioning and vertical positioning. So horizontal is obviously this way. You can rotate it around, move it wherever you want. Vertical positioning, we'll click on that. Now you can see I can move my crowns up and down in the disk if there is room for them. So I can move it up and down. This is only a 15 millimeter block, so there's not much room to go. When this becomes important is if you're using a multi-layer disk. There'll be incisal at the top and dentin at the bottom. So let's say this one you wanted less incisal, move it down, more incisal, move it up. And you can see it turns yellow once you go and hit the top. All right. Sometimes also, let's say you have a crown that's a little bit too long. You can always position it so that at least the margin mills out. All right. All right, once we have them where we want, we will click on sprue positioning. All right, I like to have 3 sprues on each restoration if they're single units. On a bridge, it's a little bit different. So on this particular case, let's take this particular restoration. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have add sprue, delete sprue, and move sprue. So if we want to delete a sprue, just click delete sprue and delete it. If we want to add a sprue, click on add sprue, just come over here and add it. All right. If you want to move a sprue, click on move. Let's say you don't like where this one is. You can just go ahead and move it around wherever you want, or delete it and start over. All right. Let's say we don't want a sprue on our number 9 here. Delete it, and it's gone. Say we want to add one here. All right. Next, we can arrow forward. All right, once we get to this step, we choose the production quality for our restorations. We have rough, fine, and extra fine. So if we wanted them all rough, click on rough, apply all, and they all turn to rough. I only use this particular production quality when I'm doing a zirconia coping. Whenever I'm doing a full contour, I always go to extra fine. Extra fine will use the 2.5, 1.0, and the 0.5 millimeter burr. So I'm going to click apply all. So if one of these were a coping in here, all I have to do is click rough and just click on that one particular restoration. All right. Next, what I'll do is choose my mill. If I want to use the left or the right mill, or if you have multiple mills, you just click on which one you want. We have right here, show legend. All right, so if we want Once we mill this out, we can go ahead and print out this legend and put it with our disk so we know where all the crowns go. But you don't have to print it out. Up to you. All right, let's say we're ready to mill and we want to check our instruments. So we have a check mark in the box. That means it is ready to go. But if we want to go up to the top, click on configuration, click on machine and instrument, click on our particular mill we want to look at. So let's look at this one right here. All right, while we're here, we have a few other options. You always want to make sure if you are using the Sirona dust collector, you have this checked, and make sure you have these two checked as well. If you go to the service box right here, we have a few new things. We have the spindle maintenance. You want to do that daily or every couple days, but you want to do it often. If you don't do it for a while, it will give you a message coming up that you need to do it, but it's very important to do it often, especially if you're milling a lot every day. It only takes about 20 seconds to do, and it's very good for your machine. We also have a start cleaning process. This is a really cool feature that they added. Once you click start cleaning process, it will actually clean out your machine. So it'll turn on the water, go in a little pattern, and your machine comes out nice and clean. I really like that. Cleaning position, if you click there, it just brings your chuck up to the front so you can manually clean anything you want. Open chuck, click that if you have, let's say, a bird that's in your chuck and you want to get it out. Click that. Water pump, I suggest every time I refill my water reservoir, I'll click my water pump on just to get that pump flowing. Extraction unit, this turns on and off your dust collector whenever you want. Arrow back. All right, change instruments. All right, it gives you this little warning here for removal of the instrument tray. Please open the latch manually. You can, if you don't want to see this anymore, you can get rid of this message by clicking this box. All right, so whatever there is a little circle here in the box, that is the magazine that is inserted. You can see this one right here has a lock on it because this particular magazine is in my other mill. Okay, so it's saying obviously I can't use that one. So this particular zirconia oxide magazine that's in here, it shows all my burrs. So let's say for whatever reason I wanted to go ahead and change this burr right here. Click on it, then come over to the right hand side and tell the software that you replaced it. Now you can see it went to 100%. All right, you can do that for all of them whenever you change them, or just one at a time. If I want to change, let's say, to a PMMA magazine, I just highlight this and then click this box right here. So it's a lot easier now to change magazines. So this is the one I want. Make sure this little dot is here and it says magazine inserted. Hit exit. Please assure that the manual latch is closed. Okay, I did that. And then we're ready to mill. All right, so I'll just hit start. Let's say I wanted to add another unit to this particular case. All I have to do is go back to collect and collect at the bottom. All right, let's say I wanted to add a big bridge. Let's do this one right here. And let's also say that I wanted to add a STL file to this disk as well. Whenever you want to add an STL file, you come up to new item right here. Then you have to click this box right here and change this to STL. So now it'll look for any STLs you have. So I'll go ahead and just grab any particular one. All right. So what happens when you choose an STL, the patient's data does not come with it, so you'll just go ahead and type in what the patient's name was, and the dentist. Patient's name. You can put the order number, hit OK. Next, it's going to ask you to draw the margin. All right, so this is a STL that I don't know where it came from, but so on the right-hand side of the screen, we have auto, manual, crown, veneer, inlay. This is a crown. Just double-click to start, come around, come back down. If you want to get it as close as you can, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Okay, so we'll draw our margin. If for some reason you're having issues drawing the margin, or if it's a, let's say, screw retained bridge or something like that with holes in the top, instead of marking the margin and hitting apply, you can just hit the question mark for miscellaneous and hit apply, and that way you don't need to actually draw your margins. I'll do that on a real large bridge or model or something like that. That way you don't have to draw the margins. You just hit the miscellaneous and hit apply, and it'll know the orientation for you. All right, so I hit apply. Now I can arrow forward. All right, we'll go back to our blank. All right. So it went ahead and positioned our crowns in here. Let's get that one out for a second. So this particular bridge is not fitting in the 15mm disc. Let's look and see what's going on. It's very close. That particular margin right there and those two little spots. Let's see if we can move it up. So now we can make sure that margin mills. However, those few spots are going to be sticking out the top. So for this particular case, you might want to go up to a larger size disc. Okay, but red means that it's sticking out of the disc. But while we're here, we have a centering bar that automatically is put in the software. If you do not want to keep the centering bar, right click, apply all, and your centering bar is gone. If you want it back, just hit the little apply all button here. Let's say we did want to keep this just so I can show you some spruing on this. We'll arrow forward to sprue positioning. All right. So with these particular cases, I only like to have 3 sprues connected to the centering bar. I like to have one at the bottom molar, one at this bottom molar, and one at the top. I don't want to have sprues going to each element on the lingual. If I wanted to get rid of this one and put it more near the top, kind of ugly. Let me fix it. Okay, the software actually did a better job than I did on that one. There we go. All right, so I like to have 3 sprues, 1, 2, 3. And again, you don't have to have sprues on every single element on the outside, but you can if you want. All right. So this one obviously didn't fit, so I would go up to a larger disc. All right, so we can arrow forward. Let's say we want this one milled rough. Change it to rough, hit start. So while this one is milling, we can go ahead and add a new job. So go to the top left, click on new job. Okay, MCX5, let's say we want to mill, let's say 4 Emacs using the multi-block holder. So we'll just find our Emacs crown. Let's find one here. Put a check in the box. Select our blank. All right, this is going to be Emacs size C14, so new blank, Avocar, Emacs, blank size C14, check mark, arrow forward. All right, so now we can adjust our sprue, put it wherever we want. We also have the vertical position available here if we want. Next, we click on sprue positioning and arrow forward. All right, so now it's in spot number 1. Let's say we want to go ahead and, oh, first of all, we have fine or extra fine, however we want to mill it. Fine, click on it. If you want to change it to extra fine, click on it there as well. With extra fine, you will need to have all 4 burrs in your magazine. All right, let's say we want to add another one to the multi-block holder. Come up to the top, new job, MCXL, or MCX5, sorry. Hit OK. Let's find another Emacs. Select blank. Let's say this particular one, Ivaclar, let's say this was an Empress, C14, okay. Arrow forward. Put the sprue wherever you want. Arrow forward. And it'll put it in position 2. All right. If, let's say, you don't want it in position 2, just come over here to the multi-block positioning and move it wherever you want. Okay, so now it's in position 6. And you can go ahead and continue to load up all of these spots. All right, so if I wanted to mill this is saying, wait a second, there's a problem. This material requires different instruments. That's because both of my mills have the zirconia burrs in right now, but all I would have to do is come up to the top, configuration, machine and instruments. Let's say I wanted to mill in the left mill. All I do is change instruments. Go ahead and switch to my Emacs burrs. Got to put a check mark in the box. Okay, got all my burrs in. Exit configuration. And now I have a green check mark and I can go ahead and mill. This was just a brief overview of the inLab CAM 15 software. We'll have many videos to come in the future. Thank you very much.